Welcome back, viewers. In this video, I'm going to do a comparison between the age-old favourite, Epic Armageddon, versus the new kid on the block, Legions Imperialis. Epic gaming in Warhammer has been around for a very long time, going all the way back to the original Adeptus Titanicus in 1988. It was then followed up in 1989 by Epic Space Marine, and then 91 with 2nd edition. There was a bit of a gap, and then in 97, Epic 40,000. And then last but not least, and a firm favourite of mine, Epic Armageddon in 2003. And that was the last of it. There was the dark age when GW pretty much mothballed all specialist games. And then in 2018, we had the new Adeptus Titanicus, and then followed up with epic miniatures of Marines and tanks, Legions Imperialis 2023. A little shout out to Aeronautica, which is a really good game. It doesn't bat rep that well, unfortunately, otherwise we'd do more, but it is a brilliant game. Came out in 2007 and then followed up in 2019 for 40k, and then back to Horus Heresy in 2022. So that's a brief history. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to go through my top 5 key differences between Legions Imperialis and Epic Armageddon. Okay, number 1, the obvious one, is the setting and the lore. So Legions Imperialis is set in 30k, and I know that's a little bit controversial for some. The good news with this is it is fully supported currently, and you're gonna get stuff, so that's great. There is a lot of comments on other videos I've seen of people saying, I would play this if it was 40k. Why isn't it 40k? 40k, 40k, 40k. If you really want to, if you really want to, you can play Epic 40k. There is nothing stopping you. You just don't have to do it through GW. There are plenty of third-party sites like Vanguard and Scourge, or you could get into 3D printing. Yes, you have to do a little bit of work, a little bit of learning, but it is in the long run much cheaper. You can make as many armies as you wish. So yeah, it's 30k and it's probably not going to change, but like I say, there's nothing stopping you playing Epic Armageddon in 40k. I don't really like where 40k has gone since the arrival of Primaris, so I'm pretty stoked it's 30k. That suits me just fine. Another big difference between the two is the designed scale of the game. Yes, you can look at the miniatures, the 6 and 8 mil as they call it. It's generally just quarter scale, but not just that. I'm talking about the size of the games you play. Epic Armageddon is notably smaller in its game design and the amount of models you have. 3,000 points of EA looks about half of what 3,000 points of Legions Imperialis is. Legions Imperialis looks to be designed for these massive games, these huge epic games. Whether it's better at that, I don't really know. They do follow very similar sort of activations, so I don't know if that would be better or not. Things do die very quickly in Legions, so maybe they die in droves. So yes, they do. So maybe that helps. So yeah, 3,000 points is designed to be the standard game for Legions. Of course, you can play smaller, and in fact, I am enjoying much smaller games. So number 3 on my list is orders, and it's kind of the generic sort of way the game is played. They are very different games. They have similarities, they have alternate activations, they do have orders, but it doesn't feel the same at all. Legions Imperialis has less orders, and it kind of has like a 2-stage game mode. You move everything and then you fight with everything, and it does sometimes feel like there's a long periods of just rolling dice at each other. I know that's the same with AT, but AT has the terminal management, so you're looking at shields, repair and stuff. There's a lot more in-depth stuff going on there. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but that's how it's kind of working. Epic Armageddon has more orders and it feels more dynamic. The orders are integrated with movement and attacking in very different ways. And that includes your assaults as well. An assault in Legions is, I don't want to use the word simplified, I'm going to use the word streamlined, and it's based off old 2nd edition Space Marine. But it's very simple. You roll a couple of dice, you add your close assault factor, whoever wins does a wound. Epic Armageddon, you've got people fighting in close combat, you've got people adding firefight values with small arms that aren't actually engaged base to base. Then you've got supporting fire potentially from other units, and then you have like a Warhammer fantasy style combat resolution, and then a 2d6 roll off, and you add it all together and you get a winner. So kind of more in depth. EA close combats feel like a little battle within themselves. Always said like an assault in EA is like a little game of 40k within itself. I'm not saying one's better than the other, but there are they are very big differences in the way orders, close combat especially, is played. So going on from my previous point, streamlined rules. Legions feels more streamlined, not simplified necessarily. And this really boils down to a lot of things like close combat. And then when you look at war engines, using your Titans and stuff, flyers specifically, EA has a lot of very in-depth rules with flyers. They come on, they have to make disengage moves, they can be flacked. It's all great stuff, but if you haven't got the time or the interest, then maybe Legions is better for you because it is quicker and easier to learn, I think, as a game. Both games have a lot of special rules, so that's very similar. Some of the units I find though in Legions have lost a little bit of flavour because of that. Maybe that's streamlined or simplification. Terminators just feel like generic infantry really, compared to they do in Armageddon. They are tankier, and a lot of tanks, they, because things die in droves, they don't have that reroll armor. A lot of them, and I'm not a big fan of rerolls. It has to be there for a good reason. So some of the units, maybe because there's more of them, or designed to be more of them, they don't feel like they should. So Legions is more streamlined. It's probably an easier game to pick up and play, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. Number 5, and the biggest one for me, is morale. Legions Imperialis has a very simple morale system. You take 50% casualties, and then you take a morale check. If you pass it, you're good to go. If you fail it, you're on a fallback order, and you need to rally, otherwise you could just leave the board. It's a very common sort of theme for Warhammer games, and it's and it works fine. Epic Armageddon has a blast marker system. It's probably one of the most elegant and clever rule systems I've played in a Warhammer game, and I really like it. Basically, units will take a blast marker if they come under fire, and they will take blast markers when they take casualties. This is the most simplified way of saying it. And for every blast marker you receive, suppresses a unit, therefore it cannot attack. So you have 5 tanks, it comes under fire, now you're only attacking with 4, it takes casualties. You're not only not able to attack with the ones that are dead, but you can't attack with the ones that are gaining blast markers. It could be why things survive more in EA, because you can shut down units without killing them. So the blast marker system is genius, and I love it, and I know a lot of people do. And again, I'm not really here to say which one's better or not. I know I do like the Armageddon system, and I think a lot of people were hoping for that to come into Legions when it came out, and it didn't. So a quick summary, why would I play Legions Imperialis? I would play Legions if I love 30k, which I do, and it's a new and currently supported game, which is always a win. It's easy to learn, but not to master. There is a lot of stuff to come as well, which is great. The kits are lovely, lots of plastics. For the most part, they're lovely. And you can use all your Titans and Knights and your Aeronautica stuff if you have it. So it's a lovely looking game. It's out there now, and it is enjoyable. That's why I play Legions. Why would I play Epic Armageddon? If you love 40k, I would play this game. It's still out there, the rules are free, it's a very deep and dynamic gaming experience, and you can get into 3D printing as well. It'll save you a lot of money, you can build up some massive armies, which makes it really, really good value. It's also from the golden age of GW games writing, in my opinion. So that's why I will play Epic Armageddon. And at the end of the day, why not both? Thanks for watching this video. Please like, share and subscribe. We've got some more battle reports coming for you soon. Thank you very much, and I'll see you in the next video.